Welcome back, Love Nation. This is Nina. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everybody that has been coming to my channel. Like this video, share this video, and hit that notification bell so you guys know when I drop my next one. Listen, you guys, we are getting into part 5 of reading the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit, and there are definitely a lot of allegations as we continue to read through this. This section is particularly alarming and shocking in my opinion. So again, this is part 5 of reading these documents. I definitely want to know what you guys think in the comments below. And I want to know, do you guys think that justice will be served in this case? Again, this is quite disturbing. So anyway, this is part 5 we're about to read. And let's go. To make matters worse, when Blake Lively tried to have a meeting with Mr. Heath and other producers to discuss Mr. Baldoni's unprofessional behavior described above, that meeting turned into yet another violation. Rather than an ordinary meeting time and place, Mr. Heath arrived unannounced at Miss Blake Lively's hair and makeup trailer while she had no clothes on and having body makeup removed by makeup artists. Miss Lively told Mr. Heath that she was almost done and that they could meet once she was dressed. Mr. Heath, however, insisted that if she didn't allow him into her trailer to speak to him at that moment, then there would be no meeting with other producers. Miss Lively reluctantly agreed, but asked that Mr. Heath keep his back turned. A few minutes into the conversation, Miss Lively noticed that Mr. Heath was staring directly at her while she was topless. When she called him out, Mr. Heath brushed it off as a habit of wanting to look at a person while speaking to them. Blake and her hair and makeup artist were all deeply disturbed by this interaction on just the second day of filming. Throughout filming, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath invaded Miss Lively's privacy by entering her makeup trailer uninvited while she had no clothes on, including when she was feeding her infant child. Miss Lively often had to work while feeding her child. While she felt comfortable doing so, as she is often given the time and space to cover herself, she did frequently because she was not given breaks to feed her baby. But Miss Lively did not expect or consent to anyone entering her private spaces while not having on any clothes, exposed and vulnerable with her newborn, or during body makeup application or removal. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath both showed a shocking lack of boundaries by invading her personal space when she was unclothed and vulnerable. Mr. Baldoni also routinely degraded Miss Lively by finding back-channel ways of criticizing her body and weight. A few weeks before filming began and less than 4 months after Miss Lively had given birth to her 4th child, Miss Lively was humiliated to learn that Mr. Baldoni secretly called her fitness trainer without her knowledge or permission and implied that he wanted her to lose weight in 2 weeks. Mr. Baldoni told the trainer that he had asked because he was concerned about having to pick Miss Lively up in a scene for the movie, but there was no such scene. When Miss Lively caught strep throat, Mr. Baldoni offered as a gift to connect her with an expert he had on retainer to help her with probiotics and to combat the sickness. When Miss Lively went to fill out the privacy forms, she saw the expert was not what Mr. Baldoni had represented her to be, but was instead a weight loss specialist. Miss Lively felt once again that Mr. Baldoni was shaming her for her body and weight. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath failed to implement sickness protocols when there was a sickness outbreak on set. Blake was told by another producer that because Wayfair did not have insurance coverage for sickness, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath deliberately withheld from Blake Lively that she had been exposed to the sickness. Both Lively and her infant child contracted the sickness from the outbreak. Section B. Ms. Lively and others lodged grievances regarding the conduct of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath, which Wayfair declines to investigate. As the studio producing the film, Wayfair was the employer of all the cast and crew and was thus responsible for ensuring workplace safety on set. However, Wayfair failed to provide Blake Lively with even rudimentary employment protections, such as an employee handbook, SA policy, information, or any training on SH, discrimination, or respectful workplace expectations. Wayfair had also failed to provide Blake Lively information about the process and procedure for filing human resources complaints. As a producer and owner of the film, Wayfair was legally obligated to address HR-related concerns or complaint. To Blake Lively knowledge, however, Wayfair lacked any process for responding to complaints about his leadership. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath, who plainly were not going to investigate themselves. On May 26 of 2023, Blake Lively told a representative of Sony that she wanted to file an HR complaint about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct. The Sony representative told Blake Lively that Sony, as a distributor of the film, was not empowered to control Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath's behavior on set, and that such concerns must be raised with Wayfair, the studio responsible for the production. Wayfair, Mr. Baldoni, and Mr. Heath received or were aware of a number of HR grievances regarding their conduct. For example, on the first day of filming, while attempting to hug Ms. Lively's employee, Mr. Heath said, "I don't even know if we're allowed to do this. It's day one. We have an HR report already." Additionally, early in the production, another actress made a complaint about Mr. Baldoni's comments on her appearance. Mr. Baldoni expressly acknowledged her concerns in writing, stating he would adjust accordingly. Yet, on June 8, 2023, that actress informed Blake Lively that outside of anything in a scene, I actually cannot talk to Justin at all. Mr. Baldoni's letter expressed suspicion regarding Blake Lively's friendship with this actress, as if they were colluding against him. As described above, Blake Lively and others attempted to raise concerns to Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath regarding certain of the conduct described above during filming, but they were not addressed, giving the futility of asking Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath to address their own behavior. After unsuccessfully attempting to raise concerns with Sony, Ms. Lively expressly told Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath that there were serious HR problems on set. Mr. Heath responded that they knew, implying that someone had mentioned it to them that Blake had raised concerns. In response, Mr. Heath told Blake that he thought she wanted to see the close-off video of his wife. In the same conversation, when Miss Lively expressed her being upset, Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni had hidden the fact that she had been exposed to a sickness outbreak on set, from which she and her infant contracted sickness. Instead of acknowledging responsibility and committing to safely moving forward, they were expressed upset over production days missed and resulting cost. Despite receiving multiple detailed reports by Ms. Lively and others about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct, Wayfair failed to investigate those reports or to otherwise institute protections for the cast. This is so even though the incidents discussed above, among others, did not take place in isolation, and many, if not all, were witnessed by others. By these and others' behaviors, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath and Wayfarer engaged in harassing conduct and failed their obligations to investigate complaints of workplace harassment, to prevent inappropriate and harassing behaviors on set, and to provide avenues for cast and crew members to safely raise concerns to neutral parties so that they could be investigated and appropriately addressed. I will be pausing this video right here. We will continue with part 6 of this alarming lawsuit. So please thumbs up this video, follow my channel, subscribe, so you guys know when I drop the next part of this lawsuit with Blake Lively. Till next time, enjoy your day and be safe. Bye, guys.